Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name's Ernie Alima, and in today's video I'm going to be going over 10 habits that will carry you through your A-level economics and help you get an A star at the end of your course. For context, I did GCSE economics and got a grade 9, and I did A-level economics and got an A star, and I'll be going to university to do an economics related subject. Now, the first habit that I'd recommend is consolidating your work. What I mean by this is just reinforcing the things that you've learnt after lessons. So the best way that I'd recommend doing this is through various resources such as flashcards, mind maps, or notes. Personally, I use flashcards as I found them the most efficient method, and I've been using this since GCSE. The preferred application for flashcards was actually Quizlet for me, but there are others such as Anki, and there are also other resources you can make them by hand too. Another way of consolidating the things that you've learned is by doing your homework and doing the homework on the day that you've been set the homework. This can also help to reinforce the things that you have learnt in class. Now, when you consolidate your work, it's not just doing it on the day, it's also renewing and going over the things that you've learnt on a periodic basis. So I'd say do it on the day that you've done the work, and also do it on the end of the week, and then finally at the end of the month or at the end of each half term, just to make sure that you're continuously going over the work and the things that you've learnt. And this will help you ensure that you're going over and having a good knowledge and a firm foundation of the things that you've learned. The second habit would be to make sure that you fully understand everything that you've been taught. Now, if you don't understand something, don't just leave it to the end of the year or the end of the half term. The best thing to do would be to focus on it in the moment and try and understand it fully. So seek help from teachers, resources online like YouTube, physics and maths tutor. There are so many websites and guides to help you. But if you don't understand something, please make sure that you try and work on understanding it as soon as possible. Don't just leave it. Once you think you've understood something, a good way of testing that is by teaching the concept to somebody else. The third habit would be to watch or read the news on a daily basis. Now, a good way of doing this would be to focus on things that are happening in the UK and also things that are happening on the global scale. Some examples of news sites include BBC, and I believe as of the time I'm recording this video, it's possible to get a subscription for free with the Economist Espresso service. If you are interested in that, I will put the link down below in the description of this video. That will give you access to free news resources, but if not, you can always use the free news services such as the BBC. The next habit would be to follow 2 industries of interest and 2 countries of interest. Now, for A-level economics, I took the Edexcel course, and this meant that in the exam they would ask questions sometimes, the 25 markers, saying answer this question with reference to a specific country or answer this question with reference to a specific industry, which is why I'm mentioning that it's a good idea to start following now 2 different industries in 2 different countries. In terms of the industries, just think of something that you enjoy or something that you like. And in terms of the countries, you might be able to choose one that you have a personal connection to, so maybe your parents or you have family from this country. I would also think about picking a developing country and also a country that's a lot more developed, and different countries across the world. This will help because you have a wider range of examples and things to talk about. Tip number 5 is to keep a bank of real life examples. Tip number 3 and 4, I mentioned keeping an eye on different industries and also watching the news. So what I'd now recommend is keeping a bank of very relevant examples that are linked to the topics that you're learning. One way that you can do this is by having an online version of the specification and annotating real life examples. Another way that you can do it is just add it to your flashcards that you've made. So that's what I did. Every time there was a good example in the news that I found and it linked to a specific topic, I would add it to my flashcards, and that helped when revising because it meant that the examples were linked automatically to the topics that I was revising. Habit number 6 would be to subscribe to the Tutor to You economics blog. This usually comes out daily and it would be emailed to you. In this blog, they go over sometimes different news stories, they give out quizzes, and they also give exam style questions. This is a great way to revise, and it takes about 5 minutes per day. So if you keep a habit of doing this on a daily basis during the week, you'll have a strong foundation by the end of your course and by the time you do the exams, because you'll have lots of practice. Habit number 7 would be to keep a bank of teacher feedback and also personal feedback. So what I mean by this is after you've done an essay or an exam question or even a complete paper, take a note and see what you did that was good and what you did that needs improvement, And also take note of the teacher feedback. This is relevant for essays. So if the teacher has made a comment on the structure of your essays, just keep a note of what the teacher said, write it down somewhere, maybe in a Word document or a spreadsheet, just so you can go over it and know for the next time the things that you need to do to improve. Habit number 8 is to do exam style questions regularly. It goes without saying this is the best way to practice for the exam, and there are plenty of resources online for A-level economics. Habit number 9 would be to familiarise yourself with the specification. The specification is essentially where your exam papers are coming from, because the exam boards have to write papers based on the content of the specification. So you can go ahead and take a look at the specification and make sure you know it inside out. This is also a good thing to do because if you base your notes and your flashcards off the specification, you know that you won't be missing anything out. I know some people who printed out the specification and annotated it. Personally, I think you can do this online as well, or you can just have the specification open and use it as a starting point for your notes and your flashcards. Habit number 10, the last habit, would be to not neglect diagrams. In A-level economics, there are many different diagrams for each of the topics, and it's probably one of the most important ways that you can gain marks in analysis and application. So when you're doing exam practice, make sure to include diagrams in your responses and practice regularly, making sure that you understand fully how all of the different diagrams work and incorporating them into your essays with lots of application. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it useful, please give it a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'll see you in the next video.